Connecting with nature and learning about our unique ecosystem just got better in St. Charles Parish. The Dow Discovery Deck and Outdoor Classroom is the latest addition to our facilities at the Spillway Park and Boat Launch.
It's great to be at this new structure here at the Spillway Park, and always great when we can partner with local industry to be able to execute new facilities and new projects for the parish.
Tremendous asset here. You know, we moved our swamp school up to the front years ago. We thought to rebuild the classroom, it would better serve our residents maybe up front, where you didn't have to make the 5.5-mile journey. Since swamp school was already being facilitated here, it goes along with the educational component of swamp school, teaching and learning, and giving our kids kind of observation of why it's important to preserve our wetlands, to care for our swamplands, and also water quality in the area we live.
The $200,000 project relocates the outdoor classroom from the lakefront Wetland Watcher site to a location that is more accessible and convenient to groups like Swamp School and local schools as well.
Look, I think this is going to be a perfect opportunity for Swamp School. It's the perfect outdoor classroom for kids to come and connect with nature and learn about preservation and learn about conservation. So we can't wait just in a few short weeks for our Swamp School kids to be here and learn. And I know that throughout the years, our schools are going to be doing field trips out here and many more activities. And this thing's going to get a lot of use. We're excited.
It's just an awesome facility, you know, and I look so forward to seeing what the kids can do with it and enjoy it so much. It's a facility that I could have never imagined that, you know, it's going to improve this area so much and the people can enjoy it.
The Discovery Deck was a passion project for not only local leaders, but also the good folks at Dow.
There was a need to rebuild the outdoor classroom for wetland watchers that was once here, and Dow saw the need and said, you know what, this really is in line with what our pillars are in terms of community partnership, environmental stewardship, STEM learning, supporting education, and so we jumped on the opportunity.
Good evening, and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, April 20th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance from Father Lance Campo with St. Michael the Archangel Catholic Church in Paradis. He's not showing. The gentleman's not here, Father Lance is not here, so we'll just do a silent prayer and then the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh my goodness. Father, you feel free to make the prayer official. Thank you. We had a silent prayer.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your many blessings for this day, and for this gathering of leaders and members of our community. We ask that you give the leaders wisdom and collaboration as they deliberate and seek the good of all our families and businesses here in St. Charles Parish. So help them this night to make good decisions and to always trust in you in leading them and providing for the good, especially of those who are in need. And this we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Father Campo. Approval of minutes. A motion and a second are needed to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of April 6, 2026. We have a motion by Mr. Brouillet and a seconder by Mr. Fisher. Please cast your votes. And that passes with all council members except Ms. Skiba, who's absent tonight. Special business, proclamations, canvass returns, etc. 2026-0138, in recognition, Claire Guidry Cermak, St. Charles Parish Library. Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Parish of St. Charles, April 20th, 2026. We, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby recognize and appreciate your years of dedicated public service as an employee of the St. Charles Parish Library. Claire Guidry Cermak, CLSS, September 1st, 1972 to January 30th, 2026. And we have Ms. Cermak here this evening to receive this.
This is such an honor for me, so thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Ms. Cermak. 2026-0139, in recognition, Brenda Guillat, St. Charles Parish Library. Ms. Fonseca again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Parish of St. Charles, April 20th, 2026. We, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby recognize and appreciate your years of dedicated public service as an employee of the St. Charles Parish Library. Brenda Guillat, November 7th, 2015 through January 5th, 2026. And we have Ms. Guillat here to accept.
Working at the library was one of the best jobs I've ever had, and I thank you for this.
Thank you, Ms. Guillat. 2026-0140, proclamation, Little Red Church Festival Weekend. And Ms. Wilson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Whereas St. Charles Borromeo Catholic Church is hosting their 44th annual Little Red Church Food and Fun Festival on May 1st through the 3rd, 2026 at 13396 River Road in Destrehan, Louisiana. And whereas the Little Red Church Festival Committee invites everyone to come and enjoy delicious food and beverages, exciting games, amusement park rides, live bands, dancing, pageantry, and a coordination of Miss Little Red Church. Now therefore be it resolved, we the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President do hereby proclaim May 1st through the 3rd, 2026 at St. Charles Borromeo Catholic Church, Little Red Church Festival Weekend in St. Charles Parish, and encourage all citizens to attend the festival in Destrehan, Louisiana. We have Jordan Posey, Miss Little Red Church 13, and Ashley Smith, Teen Miss Little Red Church 13.
Good evening. Ainsley and I just want to thank y'all so much for this proclamation, and it is truly an honor to represent our community in our hometown of Destrehan. And I also want to invite you all to our Little Red Church Food and Fun Festival the first full weekend of May, May 1st through the 3rd, to enjoy Onion Moms, lemonade, and the Ryan 4A Traditions Band, and most importantly, our amazing hospitality of our community. Thank you so much, and I hope to see y'all there.
Thank you, Ms. Schmidt. 2026-0141, proclamation. Bayou des Allemands, blessing of the Fleet Day. Mr. Carmada.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Proclamation. Whereas the crew of des Allemands community members will host their annual boat blessing on Saturday, May 2nd, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. under the Big Bridge on Highway 90 in des Allemands. Whereas all boats are welcome, commercial fishing boats, work boats, sport fishing boats, charter boats, power boats, pleasure crafts, personal watercrafts, hunting boats, mud boats, houseboats, kayaks, and etc. Now therefore be it resolved, we the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President hereby proclaim Saturday, May 2nd, 2026 as Bayou des Allemands Blessing of the Fleet Day in St. Charles Parish, and invite all citizens to attend and enjoy the fun and festivities. And we have Miss Mitzi P.T. and Miss Sherry Falls here to accept.
Just want to thank y'all for this year's proclamation for the boat blessing, and I think we made it clear in the proclamation any watercraft is welcome to come and get blessed, so come between 11 and 2, and Father Lance here will give you a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you both, Ms. P.T. and Ms. Foles. 2026-0142, proclamation, Older Americans Month. Mr. Mobley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Proclamation. Whereas St. Charles Parish includes a growing number of older Americans who contribute their strength, wisdom, and experience to our community, and whereas communities benefit when people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds are welcomed, included, and supported, and whereas St. Charles Parish recognizes our need to create a community that provides the services and supports older Americans need to thrive and live independently for as long as possible. And whereas St. Charles Parish can work to build an even better community for our older residents by planning programs that encourage independence, ensuring activities are responsive to individual needs and preferences, and increasing access to services that support aging in place. And whereas the 2026 theme for Older Americans Month is Champion Your Health, which focuses on transforming how society perceives, talks about, and approaches aging, and encourages individuals and communities to challenge stereotypes and dispel misconceptions. Now therefore be it resolved, we the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as Older Americans Month in St. Charles Parish and urge every resident to recognize the contributions of our older citizens, help to create an inclusive society, and join efforts to support older Americans' choices about how they age in their communities. Be it further resolved, we the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President do hereby proclaim Thursday, May 7, 2026 as Older Americans Month Celebration Day, and encourage all citizens in the parish to join in the festivities from 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center in Luling. And I believe we have Miss Keller here, April Keller. There she is.
I'd like to thank you all for this proclamation and invite you all to come out. We are going to have providers with booths from 9:30 to 10:30. We're going to serve hamburger steaks for lunch. And for entertainment, we have couillons of comedy. So y'all come out and have fun with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Keller. 2026-0143, a proclamation, ALS Awareness Month in St. Charles Parish. Whereas amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, often referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and in the spinal cord, and whereas it is estimated that ALS is responsible for nearly 2 deaths per 100,000 people annually. More people die every year of ALS than of Huntington's disease or multiple sclerosis, and it occurs 2/3 as frequently as multiple sclerosis. And whereas the ALS Association symbolizes the hopes of people everywhere that amyotrophic lateral sclerosis will one day be a disease of the past, relegated to historical status, studied in the medical textbooks, conquered by the dedication of thousands who have worked ceaselessly to understand and eradicate this perplexing killer. And whereas ALS is an incurable, fatal neuromuscular disease characterized by progressive muscle weakness, resulting in paralysis, and whereas the disease attacks nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord, causing muscles to no longer receive the messages they need in order to function, gradually weakening and deteriorating them, and whereas members in the community come together to raise funds to benefit the ALS Association in their fight against ALS, time isn't on the side of those afflicted. Fighting ALS is a full-time job, and whereas the 2026 Louisiana Walk to Defeat ALS is forthcoming, with event details to be announced, and those seeking additional information are encouraged to contact 580-265-6112. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as ALS Awareness Month in St. Charles Parish. And we have no one to receive tonight. We will pass this to them. Thank you. Next, Proclamation 2026-0144, Flood Risk Awareness Month in St. Charles Parish. Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Proclamation. Whereas flooding poses a risk to the safety and property of residents, and whereas flooding from storm surge is one of the biggest dangers during tropical weather, and whereas it is recommended that all residents purchase flood insurance regardless of their flood zone, and whereas the parish's Flood Aware Committee was organized in 2017 to compile a plan for public information that informs residents of local flood risks and promotes flood insurance coverage. And whereas the Flood Aware Committee is led by the Public Information Office and the parish's Coastal Zone Management Team and includes stakeholders from the local Chamber of Commerce, industry, real estate, banks, and nonprofits. And whereas on February 17, 2020, the St. Charles Parish Council approved Resolution Number 6475, officially adopting the Floodplain and Stormwater Management Program for Public Information, which has been submitted to the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, for the Community Rating System, and has reduced flood insurance rates for all St. Charles Parish residents. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2028 as Flood Risk Awareness Month in St. Charles Parish. Be it further resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby urge all community members to purchase flood insurance and be informed of local flood risks and mitigation practices during the month of May. And Mr. Albert's here to receive this. Did you want to say a few words?
Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, we've actually been doing a lot to this end in the past couple of years. We have advanced a number of projects. I was just at a floodplain managers conference last week, and not only are the things we're doing now paying off, but I'm hearing other communities talk about some of the work we're doing. And for a moment, I kind of panicked, and I was like, are we really keeping up? And then I thought back to a few years ago when we updated our subdivision regulations. The stuff we did at that time was a huge step forward. The way we're starting to manage growth and really considering drainage at a more than neighborhood level, we're putting the work in. And coming down to a CRS 5, getting people at full risk premiums, those 25% discounts, that's real cost savings. I mean, you're seeing what you pay for in your taxes pay off on things you have to do otherwise. But get your flood insurance if you don't have it. It's one of the best values on the market for protecting your home and your family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. 2026-0148. A resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the parish of St. Charles, state of Louisiana, to authorize the renewal of a special tax therein, recreation, and the levy of a special tax therein, Council on Aging, making application to the State Bond Commission and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
Thank you. Jason Akers with Foley and Udell, special counsel to the parish on these matters. So this resolution actually calls two different elections to be held on November 3rd. I'll take them one at a time just to explain them briefly to you, and then I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. The first election is dealing with recreation. This is a long-standing millage that's been levied within the parish. It was approved last at 3.02 mills. It has been reduced since that prior approval. It's now being levied at 2.68 mills, and this renewal would be at that 2.68 mill levy that's currently in existence. It's to be used for recreational purposes throughout the district. The second election is an in lieu millage, and it's for the Council on Aging and for elderly programs. Mr. Mobley, I think it's just a coincidence that this came up at your with your proclamation today, but it's a welcome coincidence because brought attention to it. And there are Council on Aging representatives here, of course, if you have any questions for them. This is a combination actually of two existing millages within the parish. There was one millage that was approved at 1.0 mils previously, another that was approved at 0.8 mils. They're currently being levied at a combined 1.48 mils, but they're for the same purpose. So we might as well just combine them so there's just one millage being levied instead of two separate ones, and that's going to provide efficiencies for the parish and for the Council on Aging going forward. So it's being asked to be approved to be combined at 1.25 mils, which is obviously less than the 1.48 mils that's currently being levied. As I mentioned, these elections will be scheduled on November 3rd. That is the congressional general election date. And so there will be some cost savings for the parish associated with having it on that general election date. This will be your final approval. This will go to the State Bond Commission and the Secretary of State following this, and we anticipate no issues getting it on the ballot. Like I said, I'm happy to answer any question. I'm happy to turn over to them any questions involving the council.
Thank you, Mr. Akers. File number 2026-0148 is now open to public comment. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak on this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jason, did I hear you say they're currently levying 1.4 mil?
Combined is 1.48
Combined
mils.
as 1.48?
48, yes.
Well, I would just say that I think this is a wise decision to go for the 1.25. Even though you're levying 1.48 currently. I know the millage was important in the construction of the building, and now that that's been constructed, there are, of course, operations and maintenance costs associated with it, but thank y'all for making such a wise decision to obligate the parish at an even lesser mill for the next 10 years than what you're currently levying.
Thank you, Ms. Fonseca. I see no other council discussion. Please cast your votes. And that passes with all council members present and Ms. Skiba being absent tonight.
Thank you.
Reports, finance and administrative activities. 2026-0135, New Orleans Aviation Board. Mr. Kevin Dolio, I'm sorry, I was going to mess with that.
That was perfect. Kevin Dolio, Director of Aviation for the Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport. And I thank you, Mr. Chair, members, Mr. President. I'm happy to be here today to give you an update on airport activities. I'd like to recognize Aviation Board member Gary Smith, who's here in the audience, and a member of our executive team, Aaron Burns. Aaron is really my brain, and I get up and spit out what Aaron tells me to say. But no, very happy to be here. And just to give you a brief update on airport activities, I'll start by speaking to the airport in general, our catchment area, the range that we pull traffic from. I know there's several new members, so not everyone's seen this slide before. We draw passengers from a pretty wide footprint. We're about as far east as Mobile, the Mobile, Pensacola area. We pull from as far north as Jackson, and just about to Lake Charles to the west of us. So we have an unusually large catchment area. We are by far the largest airport within a 350-mile radius of here, with Houston Intercontinental being the next large airport. We have air service from 14 airlines. And during the soft demand year, 2025, was nationally a very soft, or there was a softening of demand due to different pressures, different regulations, and now going into 26 with the war. It's continuing to be soft, but even during that soft demand year, air carriers added new air service at the New Orleans airport, with Breeze leading the bunch of airlines with a number of flights added through 25 and in the first 2 months of 26. Southwest has added service to different destinations that they already serve from here. JetBlue, British Airways, whose London service has been very successful from here, added a frequency to the London service. So everyone in Alaska came in with Portland service, a destination we've been after for some time, and happy to see that come on board. We, with the air service here and with our market, and that covers our entire MSA, the market here is a pretty strong market. Given the size of our market, we punch a little bit above our weight, really, in the number of seats that this market attracts. These next two charts are just here to show that when you compare us to our peer markets on this first slide, we have more seats per capita from this market than our peer airports listed here. Those are all medium hub airports in the country. The next slide is a comparison to airports in leisure destinations, so strongly leisure destinations like we are. And we're second only to Orlando, so we're beat out by Mickey Mouse. But you can see in comparison to other leisure destinations, we have good seats per capita in comparison. That's even in larger markets. This slide brings in large hub airports on top of us, like Nashville and Tampa, and San Diego. So we even perform better than those markets in terms of seats per capita. Our concessions program, it's been very popular since we moved into the new facility, so much so that, and so much better than the program we left in the old terminal, that we compare back to that program. 2019 was the last full year pre-pandemic. It was also the last year in the old facility. So when you look at 2025 compared to 2019, our enplanements were down 9% from 2019, but our concessions revenues were up 35%, and that's a strong statement speaking to the strength of the current program and the popularity of the current concessions program. And when you look at year over year, 25 to 24, we're down 5% in enplanements from 2024, but we were up 3% in concession sales. So continue to do well. This slide only put in because we are going into the summer months. And the summer months are the toughest months for parking availability at the airport. So this slide is up really, it shows that we have much more in terms of capacity and parking than we did in the old terminal, 10,000 spaces versus the 5,600 spaces we had in the old facility. But I really put it up to jog me to speak to two services we added, just to remind everyone of those services as we're going into these busy parking months. If you have a facility that you really prefer parking in when you use the airport and we're going into the busy period, and you can reserve parking. You can reserve parking months in advance. When you book your airline reservation, go in and reserve the space you want in the facility of your choice. There's only a $2 or $3 administrative fee added on top of the rate for the garage, and it's a good way to lock in the facility you want. So when you pull up that day of departure, if the facility shows full, it's not full for you. You are emailed a barcode to scan. You scan into the facility, and if you let in, believe me, there's open spaces in that facility if it lets you. And we pull spaces as folks reserve space in the facility. Also, we introduced valet parking. Our market, and valet's been tried here in the past and failed for good reason. Valet parking relies heavily on heavy business traffic in an airport, which we're more of a leisure market. So we don't really have the type of traffic that supports valet, but we do have a large enough segment of locals that if they arrive at the airport and the facilities close in or full, they don't want to go to the economy parking garage on the other side of the airport and would prefer something nearby. So we introduced valet parking to handle that demand. And we've never filled it, but it's been very popular. And in fact, we've developed a loyal following that uses valet even when we're not running heavy in parking. So it's worked out real well. It gives folks the opportunity to park close to the facility if the parking garages are full close to the facility. We have, since the move over, the move was very successful in terms it's an award-winning facility, and we've been recognized for the customer service we provide over there, the all-around services at the facility. That's from arrival in the facility to navigating your way around the facility, to the check-in process, to the screening process at the checkpoint, to the parking facilities. The overall airport operation has been voted best in North America 5 years in a row in our category airport, and that's airport serving 5 to 15 million passengers a year, primarily medium hub airports. And with that recognition for North America 5 years in a row, from ACI North America Airports Council International, the North America region, ACI World is now recognizing us as a multiple winner, and we're being inducted into the ACI World Director General's Role of Excellence. So the North America Award is with other airports in Canada and the U.S. We compare to going into the Role of Excellence. We're going in with 7 other airports, and only one of them is another North America airport. So we're going in with airports from around the world. It's really good recognition. And this next slide just lists various awards we've received, the recognition we've received over the past 5 years at the airport, starting with that best in North America 5 years in a row. It even goes to best hygiene measures, which was a measure for 2 years of the pandemic. Most efficient airport, North America, which speaks to more our cost structure at the airport, more of the finances of the airport. Even the fastest airport pickup by Uber, the nationally fastest airport pickup for 2 years, 22 and 24. So it touched the overall operation, has been recognized for our performance. Construction projects. There's several very critical, very crucial projects ongoing now. The most important is a runway reconstruction, the north-south runway. We're replacing what's called the keel section of the runway. That's the center 2 panels for the length of the runway. And that's a section of the runway that takes the pounding. So we're 20 years removed from the last kind of overhaul of the runway. It was due. So it's down. It's due to be completed by the end of this year. It's actually tracking a little bit ahead of schedule, so I think we'll get it in November, maybe a little bit sooner, but it's tracking real well. The other project I want to mention here is the Express Shuttle Connector Road. That project's ongoing now as well. That will be a very important project for now and into the future. It connects our 2 campuses totally on airport, taking all of our shuttle traffic, say from the rental car facility the economy parking garage on the south side, the employee parking's on the south side, pulls all that traffic off the public roadway system onto a dedicated all-on airport roadway, which will bring consistency to headways and trip times back and forth, lowering the trip times and never caught in traffic moving back and forth. More importantly, down the road, as the Baton Rouge New Orleans rail, passenger rail, comes about, there will be a terminal serving the airport. That terminal, passenger terminal, will be south of Airline Highway across from the old terminal. We'll need to service getting our customers from that terminal over to the north side of the airfield. This roadway will serve that purpose as well, with shuttle buses initially for all of the folks that will be transiting from south to north. Eventually, down the road, with either light rail or autonomous vehicles on that pathway going around to the north side. So wanted to definitely mention those two. And we're also in the midst of a critical kind of capacity project for our baggage system, in upgrading and expanding the inspection facilities within that inline system, so we can have more throughput and more reliability on the system as our traffic grows. So wanted to mention those projects, and also wanted to note you've been hearing a lot about our master plan recently. And the master plan, the draft of it is complete, has been submitted to the FAA for their review and approval, and we're just waiting to get that approval back on the master plan. So with that, that'll wrap what I wanted to present, and I'll take any questions if there's any.
Thank you, Mr. Dolio.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have 2026-0136, Information Technology. Mr. Anthony Ayo reporting.
Good afternoon, everyone. Council members, Parish President, appreciate y'all for having me today. Again, I'm Anthony Ayo. I'm here to present our Information Technology report. If you go to the next slide for me. Oh, sorry. I'm doing that. For a second, I thought we had something going on here. Sorry. I want to introduce my team for you. Those who do not know, we have Eric Dufresne, Kim Cheramy, and Abel Dufresne. And we get asked a lot, Eric and Abel are not related, even though they're both Dufresnes. But that's the backbone of this department. Those are the people that are working behind the scenes day to day to make sure our lives, the department's lives that we support, are smooth. And you don't see it, but they get inconvenienced a lot. Sometimes I might be calling Eric on the golf course on a Saturday to help me troubleshoot something, and we'll be figuring something out together. And but I love these folks. They do a great job for us, but I want to give them their kudos. So let's hop in. Let's talk about who we support. Not only do we support our normal departments, the normal departments that you would interact with in government, we're kind of similar to government buildings where we have other customers, if you will, like the DA, the judicial system, the clerk of courts, and even the registrar of voters. So it's unique when we have a variety of folks that we support, and sometimes we have to shift gears because these folks use different resources, right? So when sometimes they'll pull us in with a unique challenge, and we'll not only support them on a day-to-day, but maybe help them with some innovative solutions along the way. So that kind of frames what we do. Let's just talk about some of the accomplishments in 2025, and I know I always get teased of being long-winded. I'm trying to try and be as less nerdy with some of this stuff and highlight it. If you have any questions at the end, please let me know. So last year, we were actually in the process of launching the Waterworks call center around this time. That's been complete. If some of you have engaged with it at all, having to call the Waterworks hotline, I think that's been a game changer for some of those folks there, that not only the work that they do, but how they do the work. I think that's been an overwhelming success, and one of those where technology and innovation help people work better. Security camera upgrades have been very helpful as well. The day after we installed some security cameras at one of our park sites, we caught some vandalism, and these have some I guess, innovative techniques of being able to notify a person and whatnot. And literally the next day at one of these parks, we found it. Unfortunately, because of other vandalism, we're looking at enrolling them in other locations. It's unfortunate, but it's just the day and age we live in. So that's going to be seen on some of our goals for 2025. We consolidated our network. We've made it heavy investments since 2020. And what we're doing is working smarter, not harder. So we've got a lot of our resources invested at the EOC. So now we've consolidated some of those resources. We've upgraded disaster recovery tools, our remote management and monitoring, which is a lot basically where we patch our vulnerabilities automatically. That's been upgraded last year. We did a policy and documentation review, which surprisingly was fairly smooth because you kind of have to stay on top of all the changes in the technology world. And we finished our CRM, which is our Citizens Request Management System, our documentation at the end of last year. Y'all may have heard me mention this, but this is something that's a vision of Parish President Jewell and something that I'm very proud to get off the ground. We finished the documentation. We're going into the next phase where we're going to be choosing a provider and deploying that. And then the Alertus security solution, that was something that we were in the middle of deploying last year. We've had some hardware issues and some integration issues, but we've had a successful test about 3 weeks ago. And then we're going to be integrating with the radios, with courthouse security. And then I continue to serve on the State of Louisiana Cybersecurity Grant Committee, which has been very fruitful with knowledge sharing. I always like to highlight our cybersecurity report. We have what we call a SOC. If you've never heard of a SOC, it's a Security Operations Center. And basically, we use a tool that analyzes every piece of data that passes through our network. And I say piece of data, it's really the logs, like what's happening behind the scenes. And it uses artificial intelligence. And I know AI is a big buzzword, but we've been using the artificial intelligence with this probably since, I would say, 2017 when I deploy this. And then it resulted in 91 investigations and 69 reported items for evaluation. This helps us go after what we would call the low-hanging fruit of what might be a problem. Luckily, most of these aren't actual problems. As you can see, the examples are maybe third-party vendor changes with change management, maybe administrative changes. If Eric does something, I'm also aware of it. Maybe if his account were to be compromised and he did something he shouldn't have, or I did something I shouldn't have, it would give us that visibility. And all these other types, persistent login failure, dangerous IPs trying to access us, it gives us an understanding of what's going on so we can have a better posture when it comes to a threat trying to interact with us. And as you would imagine, all the stuff going on globally, we do get people that try to attack us, and they haven't had any success, and we're going to keep continuously improving to make sure it happens that way, or nothing happens from that way. And then we also do behavioral analytics. So if someone were to do like a bulk delete of something at like 2 a.m., that's unusual, right? Why are they logging in at 2 a.m. deleting massive amounts of files? We'd get a notification, and usually there's an explanation behind it. Or if there was a malicious attack, we'd be able to roll back quickly and put things in place. We've never had a situation like that, but we do get notifications of some weird activity that usually has an explanation behind it when we reach out to that end user. And then for the goals, so I talked about the CRM. This is really we're real passionate about this. This year we're doing some department alignment, and then we're going to be doing some vendor demos, and we're hoping to launch this year. It's going to kind of change the way the way a resident interacts with government, and I think this is usually we do a lot of background behind the scenes stuff, but this is going to help funnel those requests to one source so we can kind of close that feedback loop. Like if you requested a pothole to be filled, like it's tracked there. It's not a phone call, just a phone call. There's something tracked, and you'll be able to close that feedback loop. Finalizing the Alertus project, cameras at additional sites, like I mentioned. The mobile command unit, we're going to be upgrading that. We have old satellite, we're putting Starlink on there. And then we're redesigning our phone system for even more resiliency, kind of talking about those investments that we've made since 2020 and 2021 post-IDA. So we're going to do some more resiliency work there. Some remote sites, some server migration so we can consolidate more resources for some of these devices that are managed by other vendors, and we're going to take those under our wing, and people won't be we won't be paying for management on that. And Microsoft is changing how they're doing licensing, so we're going to be that's a big project for us that's going to add security. And then we're going to also, part of our continuous improvement plan is to annually do our cybersecurity evaluation. We'll be doing that. And then we're also heavily focused this year on operational technology, which is Waterworks, Public Works. We've been doing a lot of work with them to make sure they're secure. So with that, I want to thank you all for all your support historically, and y'all have been great supporting our department with what we need. Parish President Jewell has been awesome, just, not only supporting us, but empowering us to do great things. And the employees have been awesome, especially when we work on these projects. They've just been really willing to do what it takes to get the job done together. And thank you again. Appreciate it.
Mr. Io.
Yes, sir.
Any of these categories that you've just described fall into this ADA, disabling document that the federal government has thrust upon local governments? Are you guys working on any of that?
So that's actually kind of the Public Information Office works on that. Then you're talking about with the disabilities, yes. So we're abreast to it because of especially through NACO, they're talking about it a lot with the CIOs. But the Public Information Office is really that's heading it up, and we kind of like share information with them on what we're seeing nationally. I'm sure you know that they've given another year extension, which is
I saw that.
Yeah, I think I remember I saw your post about it being an unfunded mandate. It was kind of.
It is an unfunded mandate.
It absolutely is, and it's challenging, but there's a lot of tools out there that could kind of help us get to where we need to be. So, but that's not our responsibility. But
understand, but it sounds like you'd be supporting the PIO office in order to get correct software or any needed software.
And they have an identified software that's actually been kind of proven through other NACO partners throughout other counties in the country.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Ayo.
Thank you.
Okay. 2026-0137, the parish president remarks and report. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. First, we're going to get started with the 2026 Fishdat Rodeo registration, which is kicking off, or it has kicked off, but the Fishdat Rodeo is back for its 6th year, and we're looking forward to another great day out on the water throughout St. Charles Parish. This is a family-friendly fishing event that will take place on Saturday, May 9th, at the Bonacary Spillway Lower Guide Levee boat launch, welcoming anglers of all ages to enjoy a day of fishing, fun, and raffle prizes. Fishing begins at first light, and weigh-in is concluding at 1 o'clock p.m. To register and to learn more, we ask you to go to our website, www.scpparksandrec.com. Next, we'll go to Parks and Recreation Sand Volleyball groundbreaking. We recently marked the exciting milestone with a groundbreaking of our new sand volleyball court project at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. This project will bring 4 new sand volleyball courts to a facility along with fencing and lighting to support both daytime and nighttime play. Centric Gulf Coast was awarded the contract with a bid of $660,000, fully funded by the Department of Parks and Recreation, and construction has already begun and will be completed by mid-August 2026. So hopefully we'll get some use out of it this year. Okay, next, we cut the ribbon on the Dow Discovery deck over at the Spillway in Norco. It's officially open, creating a new space and dedicated to hands-on learning and environmental education in St. Charles Parish. The outdoor classroom will serve as a hub for programs like Swamp School, helping teach the next generation about the importance of protecting our wetlands and understanding the resources that make our community unique. This project reflects the values of strong partnership, and we extend our thanks to Dow for their generous support in bringing this vision to life. Their continued investment in our parish plays an important role in expanding educational opportunities for our residents. Their support covered 80% of the cost of this project. Public Works PVC pipe replacement on First Street in St. Rose. Public Works crews recently replaced aging galvanized steel pipes with new PVC pipes designed for longer-term reliability. The original lines had begun to deteriorate over time, and this proactive upgrade helps prevent larger issues down the road like water main breaks. While it may not be, I'm sorry, go back one more. Well, again, while it may not be visible, these are important infrastructure projects that play a critical role, and we're so proud of the work that our Waterworks team does to keep our system running top-notch day in and day out. St. Charles Parish Animal Shelter did an emergency response training. They hosted the culminating exercises of a 2-week emergency response training course led by the Louisiana State Animal Rescue Team. The intensive program brought together both teachers and animal shelter staff, as well as veterinarian students for hands-on, focused, real-world emergency scenarios. Training like this helps to strengthen our local regional readiness, ensuring both residents and animals are better supported during emergency situations. Additionally, this past weekend, St. Charles Parish welcomed the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra to the LaFon Performing Arts Center for a truly remarkable and memorable evening as part of our America 250 celebration. It was a special opportunity to bring a world-class orchestra to a community and showcase the LaFon Performing Arts Center as a premier venue for this event and events like this. We were so grateful to have hundreds of people attend from all across the region, and it couldn't have been done without our sponsors, Dow, IMTT, Shell, and Valero. We want to say thanks for their support in helping to bring this event to life. We want to say thanks to Samantha DeCastro and Francesca and Gabby and all of the PIO team who helped put it together as well. Okay, Trash Bash, as you know, was on the same day, on the 18th, this past weekend. The turnout was great. We had over 400 volunteers across the parish picking up litter and helping to keep our roadways, waterways, and public spaces clean. Year after year, this event continues to make a visible impact while also reinforcing the importance of taking pride in where we live. We still have crews who are reporting their litter collected to us, but as of now, we have 206 bags of litter collected, and we haven't received everybody's reports back. Please send those reports in this week if you're at home watching. We appreciate everyone who took the time to participate, along with our partners at Parks and Recreation who helped make this possible. Special shout out to Cajun Comfort, to Valero, and to all the folks who come out to the Recreation Center, the Community Center, to make this event special. St. Charles Parish, the animal shelter had a slumber party, as you can see on the screen. The St. Charles Parish Animal Shelter Slumber Party fundraiser saw strong support from our community, highlighting once again the impact residents can make when they come together for a great cause. Thanks to generous donations, the shelter raised over $4,000, helping provide second chances for animals in their care. We appreciate everybody who donated and supported and who continue to make efforts and meaningful difference in the community and who we rely on every day. Okay. In conjunction with that, they also held a rabies drive this past weekend. They provided 300 vaccinations. That's the animal shelter staff and partners who provided 300 vaccinations to pets here in St. Charles Parish. And we want to say thanks to the animal shelter staff and their partners for planning and making this event run smoothly. This continued effort reflects our commitment to responsible pet ownership and a healthier community for all. Okay, going back to America 250, we have official St. Charles Parish America 250 t-shirts are available for purchase through Thursday, April 30th. Residents are encouraged to order early and to ensure that they can take part in the celebration for America's 250, and it's just kind of a keepsake for residents to have that marks the occasion. If you want to learn more, you can visit www.stcharlesparish.gov/America250 shirt. Now I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Allie McGinnis with the Louisiana Attorney General's Office to come and join us and give us some information about what's going on at that agency. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Allie McGinnis. I am your representative for Attorney General Liz Murrell and the Louisiana Department of Justice. At the AG's office, we fight for and protect Louisiana by defending the rule of law and advocating for new policies that can make our state a better place to live, work, and raise a family. As Attorney General, Liz Murrell serves as Louisiana's lawyer, representing and defending the rights of our state on the national stage. At the same time, the LADOJ can be broken down into 10 divisions. These include the following: civil, which protects natural resources, collects debts, and defends the state's program; criminal, which assists district attorneys with investigations and prosecutions; gaming, where they make sure gaming in Louisiana is kept honest, and that's from casinos and lotteries to sports and poker; investigation, the Louisiana Bureau of Investigation investigates cyber crimes, child exploitation, fraud, and public corruption; litigation is the team that provides legal representation to the state, its agencies, and its employees; and public protection, which protects consumers from unfair and deceptive trade practices. Across all of our divisions, consumer education plays a major role in our efforts to support the people of our state, and that is why we offer additional resources meant to educate on a number of issues, and these include elder and contractor fraud. Elder fraud is a very popular one with us right now. Landlord and tenant problems, natural disasters, internet safety, domestic violence, sex trafficking, and General Murrell's Youth Anti-Vaping Initiative, which we conduct at schools with 5th and 6th graders. Please let me know if any of these topics are of special interest to your area. We're here to support you and the citizens of St. Charles Parish. To learn more about our availability, resources, and educational programs, visit our website. It's aglizmurrell.com, or you can always reach out to me directly. I look forward to working with you, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, Ms. McGinnis and President Jewell, for your presentation. Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication and public hearing Monday, May 4th, 2026, 6 p.m., Council Chambers, Courthouse, Hanville, 2026-0145 and 2026-0150. Ordinances scheduled for public hearing introduced at a previous meeting. 2026-0124. An ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs and St. Charles Parish for the provision of office space located in the St. Charles Parish Courthouse, 15045 River Road, Hanville, Louisiana. And Mr. Jewell, could you please explain?
Thank you, Chairman. This is kind of an existing contract that we already have. We're just renewing it. The Department of Veterans Affairs operates in a satellite office here in the courthouse where veterans can come and access benefits and get advice on how to better access the benefits that the VA provides. And so we would appreciate your support on this.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. File number 2026-0124 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for 2026-0124. And that passes with all members, excluding Ms. Skiba, who's out tonight. Okay, 2026-0129, an ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a cooperative agreement with LSU Ag Center for the continued support of the St. Charles Parish Cooperative Extension Service through November 1st, 2030. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. We also, this is similar to the Veterans Affair, we have an ongoing agreement with the LSU Ag Service, or Ag Center, and they work out of our Sacred Heart location over in Norco, and we'd appreciate your support on this. They provide a lot of good information to the community to both farmers and urban farmers, as well as backyard enthusiast farmers as well.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. File number 2026-0129 is now open to public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2026-0129. And that passes with all present, excluding Ms. Skiba. 2026-0128, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of the donation of a 30-foot drainage servitude by Stephen O. Vial and Leon C. Vial III to St. Charles Parish, and to revoke and abandon a 15-foot drainage servitude granted by Stephen O. Vial and Leon C. Vial III to St. Charles Parish on April 22nd, 2013. Again, let's see. We have Mr. Oob.
Yes, thank you. You'll see 2 agreements before you. One is the donation of the 30-foot servitude. If you look to the survey map, which should be attached in your agenda, St. Charles Parish will be acquiring a 30-foot servitude, and in exchange, we will no longer need the 15-foot existing servitude for drainage. So it's an agreement to accept the 30-foot, which has already been signed by the VL property owners, and in exchange, we will be revoking the 15-foot that's adjacent to it. If there's any questions, Mr. Bingham can answer any of the technical questions of why the drainage servitude is needed.
I think that would be a wise move. Mr. Bingham?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is to improve drainage in the old-fashioned subdivision by providing a defined ditch to flow the stormwater south of the UP Railroad. We already have a culvert that is in the center of Plantation Road that goes under the railroad, and also some right at Plantation Road. And we're going to connect those over to this new ditch that will carry it down and connect to the canal that comes up to the park that's in south fashion. So it's part of our master drainage plan to improve this area for drainage, and we greatly appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2026-0128 is now open to public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussions? Let's see, Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. Just to piggyback on what Mr. Bingham said, not only is this area part of an area that needs improvement under the master drainage plan, it specifically calls out the need for this servitude in the master drainage plan. And recently we had 2 more, actually technically 4 more servitudes that were donated to the parish in this area, to the west of this area, that Public Works has already dug out. Those 2 were also called out as needed by the master drainage plan. So we are really working to get the water away from the railroad tracks, which we know in this instance in the Fashion neighborhood, once the water gets through the existing jack and bores on the track, and we've also installed a temporary pump out there, it can't get away from the railroad tracks on the south side. It really has nowhere to go. The existing servitude terminates in the middle of the field, and so it doesn't really get it to an outfall. By getting rid of that and some work that we're going to be doing, not only digging the ditch, but helping channel that water at the railroad track and that jack and bore to go down that new ditch into that Vial or the Sheriff's Canal or the Vial Canal outfall. I think we're going to see a big improvement in getting water away from the railroad tracks, eliminating some recirculation, and improving the drainage for those folks in Fashion.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. Ms. Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to thank Matt, President Jewell, and the administration for this. I know these conversations have been ongoing for quite a bit, and I know the residents on Bamboo and Low Street Plantation are definitely going to be happy to hear this and even see this, because definitely when it rains, even just a little slight rain, sometimes it causes them to flood. So they're definitely going to be grateful for this. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Ms. Fonseca.
Yes, I second what Councilwoman Wilson said. I also like to thank the VL family because, for agreeing to do this. This is priority drainage improvement in the master drainage plan. And really, I think the first major one that we're going to be able to do in Hornville, thanks to the administration and Parish President Jewell for your hard work on this. It's significant.
Thank you, Ms. Fonseca. Mr. Palamone, you'd like to speak?
Yeah, just wanted to thank the VL family with long discussions with them, as well as the other families in that particular area that have donated the servitudes for us to help with our master drainage plan.
Very good. Thank you, sir. And Mr. Jewell.
Yeah, one more thing, Chairman. I apologize about that. Piggybacking on what Mr. Palamone said, big thanks to the VL family for working with us. We had to work through a lot of questions and obviously surveys and everything else. It's a 30-foot servitude. You're going to have 20 feet of canal width and then 10 foot of maintenance servitude that we're going to have there. And then what we believe that this is also going to do is give us a lot of good information for the improved jack and bores that are also called out in the master drainage plan. One of the big holdups of moving forward with that project was having the necessary outfall, because you can put new jack and bores, and then otherwise we're just going to be potentially flooding someone else's property, causing an issue. And so this is going to help us move forward on that project, which I know has been long awaited as well.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. It sounds encouraging that there are some jack and bores that are on the horizon for this area. You have any idea how long in the future that might be once they get the servitudes done?
Can I answer that one?
Yeah, go ahead. We still have to do some engineering and design on that one.
Yeah, I would also point out that once we do this, we will actually be able to see what we need rather than guessing at it, because we are actually getting some models that have been developed by the state for all of our parish, and we're going to be able to use those to actually model these areas using a lot of that information, which will help us tremendously on top of what we've already done.
Is that some of the watershed initiative
Yes, sir.
Engineering?
Yes, sir.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay, if there's no other council discussion, please cast your votes for 2026-0128. And that passes with all except Ms. Skiba. All right. 2026-0130. An ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between St. Charles Parish and Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority Board, the CPRA, to provide continued operation, maintenance, repair, replacement, and rehabilitation, that's OMRRNR, of the Davis Pond Freshwater Diversion Project, State Project Number BA-0001. And Mr. Bingham, again, could you explain?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This agreement dates back, the initial term of the cooperative agreement was from December 17th, 1998 to May 31st, 1999, while they worked out some details so they could do a longer term. It's been renewed numerous times going forward from that time. We've always taken care of the Davis diversion in certain aspects. That's all outlined in the agreement. And this is just a renewal, another 5-year renewal of what we've been doing for quite a while. And we'd appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2026-0130 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Miles, is it still correct? Let's see, the parish, this should cover 100% of the cost of Davis diversion operations, and then the state gets reimbursed by the federal government, I think.
Sure, we have a dedicated staff on this, and we have dedicated equipment on this, and that is what the costs cover. And that's why it takes a little time for us to always work it out, because we've got to do the escalation and make sure that we're covering everything.
Right.
But yes, we do have this is a dedicated group of people that do this.
100% covered. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fonseca. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. Just to kind of go further, expound on that, putting my CPRA hat on here. We cover the cost, and those costs get reimbursed, and we have an agreement when we have to have, like, when we need to buy new equipment and other things like that. I think the total agreement provides up to $3.62 million, and from CPRA side, that is split between WERDA and Go Mesa funds. So that's where that money comes from on the CPRA side, and that covers 100% of the operations, maintenance, and whatever else that we need. And that includes the structure itself that our guys operate, the pump station, the drainage pump station that our guys operate that is off of Willowdale Boulevard, and then anything that needs to be done in the ponding area as well. So sometimes there's some gapping and other things that need to take place in the ponding area, and either we will go out and hire someone to do that in agreement in coordination with CPRA, or we will perform that work ourselves.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. I might, it's been a while, but I believe there's a coastal use permit regarding some sort of patching on one of the guide levees going to the Davis Pond diversion. Is that a part of this as well?
Yes, the east and west upper guide levees are part of our responsibility area, so we cut grass on that and whatnot. And I believe if you look at the west guide levee traveling west on Highway 90 right off the road, you'll see there's a little bit of a low spot that is somewhat preventing us from running the diversion at full capacity because water, I was actually out there one time when they were doing it and the water was coming over right there. So so there is, I think, a permit out to fix that portion of levee. That might be what you're referring to.
It's been a while, so I looked at the drawings. I'm not sure if that's exactly it, but apparently that's going to be handled by the CPRA, whatever it is. Thank you very much. No other council discussion? Please cast your votes for 2026-0130. And motion passes with everyone, with the exception of Ms. Skiba tonight. All right, 2026-0132, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Digital Engineering and Imaging Incorporated to perform engineering services for the Willowdale Boulevard overlay and widening, project number P240602, in the not-to-exceed amount of $137,335. And Mr. Bingham, could you please?
Back to me again, huh?
Yes, you again.
Okay. Willowdale Boulevard is something that this administration has wanted to improve for our whole length here. It's currently about 21 feet wide, which gives you 10.5-foot lanes. You have no shoulder, so if someone goes off the road, they can wind up in the swamp, and it's always been a little bit of a dangerous situation. We have gone out and surveyed it. We've looked at it internally, and we figure we can get ourselves to a 27-foot roadway, which would give us 12-foot lanes and a 1.5-foot shoulder on either side, which gives us a little more recovery room for this this thing. We were going to try and do this inside as a design project, but our staff is very, very busy, as you know, with the pump stations and the things that we're doing all around the parish as our capital projects. We have an awful lot going on, and we really need an engineering firm that understands the area and understands this project. This is the firm that did the widening at the intersection and did a really good job. And we have also done our asphalt maintenance overlay project for a number of years also. And we feel like they're a good fit for this and can get it done quickly using the knowledge that we've created and also what they have. And we figure that we can get this done in a couple of months and out on the street. And it's going to rehabilitate the existing roadway and widen it. So we would appreciate your support on this.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2026-0132 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You got 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2026-0132. And that passes with everyone except Ms. Skiba. Ordinances, resolutions which have been tabled. This one? Does anyone want to remove the file from the table? And that's file number 2026-0104. A motion and a second is needed to do so. There are no motions or seconds. We move on. 2026-0104. An ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 to change the zoning classification from C2 to C3 on property designated as Lot ADV-3, Block A, Mimosa Park Subdivision, 12429 Highway 90, Luling, as requested by Yvette and Joseph Wolford. Mr. Albert, can you address that? That's the one we just had. Well, that one's tabled, so we ain't doing anything.
Mr. Chairman, we did reach out to her. We have not heard back. We encouraged her to come to the meeting. The only thing I heard was that I think she still does want to have the request entertained, even though she's not here. But I can't 100% speak for her. I mean, the recommendations still stand. We still recommend approval. But it's up to you all if you want to open it up without the applicant being here or not.
Well, the applicant probably should be if we're going to open it up, but appreciate the explanation. Thank you, Mr. Howard. All right. Resolutions. 2026-0147. A resolution approving and authorizing St. Charles Parish to prepare and submit a pre-application to the statewide flood control program for assistance in the implementation of a project for the purpose of reducing existing flood damages, providing for the necessary documentation of said flood damages, and providing for other related matters in connection therewith. The administration has requested an amendment to the first whereas of the resolution to remove the S from the word areas and to remove Fairfield and Oakland subdivisions in, as amended. The first whereas will read as follows. Whereas the residential area of St. Rose, Louisiana, has been adversely affected by damages caused by flood waters. Ms. Chasson.
Good evening. So this resolution is for us to submit an application to the statewide flood control program, a pre-application, and those are due on May 1st. So this is the only council meeting that we would be able to get a resolution for. And originally we were planning to submit the Fairfield and Oakland pump station project. And last week I got a call from Miss Andre Ford, and she is working with an engineer on some drainage improvements in the Oak Street pump station area, watershed area. And in their conversation, they were discussing the benefits of some conveyance improvements. And so we're asking to amend the language in this resolution to expand the area from just the Fairfield and Oakland subdivisions to all of St. Rose, so that we can submit 2 applications, one for the pump station and one for the conveyance improvements. So if you have any questions, just let me know.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Chasson. Would Mr. Oob determine if this is a substantial change? If not, we can go through the steps.
The core of the resolution, first being a resolution, is not doesn't have to have a layover as an ordinance. That being said, the resolution still is for the statewide flood control program. There's not any adding any amendments for something different than the statewide flood program. So it'd be our opinion that it's not a substantial change to the actual concept of getting it approved for that application.
Thank you, Mr. Oob. That said, I have a motion on the floor by Ms. Fonseca and seconded by Mr. Fisher to amend file number 2026-0147. And that amendment would say, whereas the residential area of St. Rose, Louisiana has been adversely affected by damages caused by floodwaters. It came from previously having S's from the word areas, and you're going to remove the Fairfield and Oakland subdivisions as amended. File number 2026-0147 is now open to public comment. This is the amendment. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussions? Ms. O'Daniels?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. We have numerous problem areas in St. Rose, as you know, as a lot of people know, and I've taken them around St. Rose, and Oak Street is one of our problematic areas too. I like to see both of them come along, and I appreciate you opening this up to potential for funding in both areas. Thank you so much.
Well, I'll give that to Miss Andre Ford because she's the one who made the call.
Well, I'll have to make a call to her and thank
Yes.
her. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. O'Daniels. Okay. Please cast your votes to amend the file number 2026-0147. That passes with everyone with the exception of Ms. Skiba.
Thank you.
All right. File number 2026-0147 as amended is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussions? Ms. Fonseca?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for everyone's knowledge, this particular funding program is what funded our Willow Ridge levee reach, and also Willow Ridge Pump Station and Ellington's levee reach. So they don't fund very many applications per year. Hopefully we'll be able to get this one done. It's encouraging that they would accept the application for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fonseca. No other council discussion. Please cast your votes for file number 2026-0147 as amended. And that passes with everyone here without Ms. Skiba. Appointments. 2026-0086. A resolution appointing a member to the St. Charles Parish Communications District representing emergency medical services as requested by the Hospital Service District Number 1, Parish of St. Charles Board of Commissioners. Council will confirm nomination provided by the Hospital Service District Number 1, Parish of St. Charles Board of Commissioners representing emergency medical services to the St. Charles Parish Communications District to fill the vacancy caused by the resignation of the term of Mr. Huey Marcel. Unexpired term to begin immediately and expire August 19th, 2026. The nominee is Mr. Kevin Gauthier. Please cast your votes to confirm the appointment of Mr. Kevin Gauthier to the St. Charles Parish Communications District representing Emergency Medical Services, EMS. And that passes with everyone except Ms. Skiba. All right. 2026-0133. A resolution appointing a member of the St. Charles Parish Planning and Zoning Commission as the District 1 representative. On Monday, May 4th, 2026, Council Chairman will accept nomination from the District 1 Council member to fill the vacancy caused by the expiration of the term of Miss Marilyn K. Ross. 4-year term to begin May 31st, 2026 and expire May 31st, 2030. Item 2026-0134, a resolution appointing a member of the St. Charles Planning and Zoning Commission as a District 7 representative. On Monday, May 4th, 2026, Council Chairman will accept nomination for the District 7 Council member to fill the vacancy caused by the expiration of the term of Mr. Richard J. Folse, Jr. 4-year term to begin May 31st, 2026 and expire May 31st, 2030. Meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Civil Service Board, Tuesday, April 28th, 26, 6 p.m., Council Chambers. Hospital Service District Number 1, Wednesday, April 29th of 26, 2 p.m., Council Chambers. Housing Authority, Wednesday, April 29th of 26, 6 p.m., Council Chambers. St. Charles Parish Council, Monday, May 4th of 26, 6 p.m., Council Chambers. Announcements. Important dates for the party primary, municipal primary, May 16th, 2026 election. Saturday, April 25th, 2026. Last day to register to vote online at govote.com. Early voting, Saturday, May 2nd, 2026. Close Sunday, May 3rd, 2026. Monday, May 4th, 2026 through Saturday, May 9th, 2026. The early voting continues. 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the West Bank at the Courthouse, 15045 River Road, Hanville. East Bank, Arterbury Building, 14564 River Road, New Sarpy. Tuesday, May 12th, 2026. Last day to request absentee by mail ballots. Friday, May 15th, 2026. Last day for registrar to receive voted absentee ballot. Saturday, May 16th, 2026, Election Day, 7 a.m. through 8 p.m. Adjournment. A motion is needed and a second to adjourn. We have a motion by Mr. Brouillet and a second by Ms. O'Daniels. Please cast your votes to adjourn. And that's voted by everybody here except for Ms. Skiba. So have a good evening. We're officially adjourned.